Welcome back, dear viewers. They are still watching The Breakfast Show, and in this segment of our program, we will talk about the launch of the first activities of the commercial mission to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, with the participation of a number of companies organized by the Export Council for Food Industries. And to know more about this issue, we are joined over the phone by Mr. Latif Wahba. He is a journalist specialized in ministerial council affairs. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, sir, can you talk to us more about the importance of the activities of the Egyptian Trade Mission to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which is organized by the Export Council for Food Industries, and its impact on supporting trade relations between the two countries?
As you know that Egypt and the Saudi Arabia has a historical relations, and at the same time the Saudis also is ranked as one of the first Arab Gulf states that invested in Egypt. And the last year, you know, that Saudi Arabia supported the Egyptian economy in different aspects, as increasing its foreign direct investment to Egypt in many sectors. And at the same time, after Egypt amended the economic climate in Egypt, especially after the economic reform program, and also during the last 2 years, putting or approving incentives for the Egyptian from all over the world, especially from states. Saudi Arabia in its investment in Egypt, and at the same time in many sectors. So the Egypt is trying to participate on all the Egyptian events, increase its support to market. That Egypt has some characteristics, especially in the food industries, for example, and also at the agricultural products exported to Saudi Arabia. So they are trying just now to raise the economic level and the economic relations between Egypt and Saudi Arabia. This is, of course, to be at the same levels of the political relations. And I think in coming periods, as the Egyptians seeking to increase their exports to Saudi's markets, the Saudis also are interested in investing and sharing with the Egyptian businessmen and so on to increase their investment in Egypt.
So, sir, how can we use these Saudi investments in Egypt in implementing major national projects?
Yeah, as you know that we have many Saudi investors in Egypt.
Yes.
And also many investments for the Saudi Saudi's public fund here also in Egypt. They recently participated in many mega projects, especially in new energy and green energy in Egypt. Many Saudi companies submitted their offers to participate in establishing green power planets, especially in Suez, in the Gulf of Suez Canal. And at the same time, I think they started just now to establish their planets, power planets, from the wind, from the solar power planets. Especially after the COP27, they signed many deals with the Egyptian government, with the Ministry of Electricity, and also at the same time with the Ministry of Oil. I think the most important project is that of the Saudis, named Aqua Power. They are trying to invest over $9 billion in renewable energy in Egypt.
Yes. In your opinion, why was the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia chosen by the Egyptian trade mission? And do you think that also other trade missions can be launched with other Arab countries?
Yeah, of course. As you know that Saudi's market is a huge market in the Gulf area. And they can absorb all quantities and all the Egyptian, a huge part of the Egyptian export is to the foreign markets.
Yes.
Especially as you know that we are in a good relations with Saudi Arabia. Politically, economically, and also at the same time, as you know that the Saudi's kingdom hosted many Egyptian workers in Saudi Arabia, and at the same time, as you know that during the economic crisis in Europe and other different parts of the world, all the countries are trying to secure their imports of main goods and the commodities like agricultural products, and at the same time from other industries as fertilizers and so on. This is, of course, encourage the Egyptian businessmen to go toward the Saudi's market. And at the same time, as you mentioned, that Egypt is trying at the same time to increase their exports not only to Saudi Arabia, but to the other Gulf states like Qatar, like United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and so on. This is, I think it is important for both parties, as you know, because it will be in their hands, available in their hands, and at the same time with a low costs concerning some logistic services like shipping and transporting and so on.
Yes. Also, this trade mission aims to enable Egyptian food production companies to export high-quality products to the Saudi market, along with increasing trade cooperation between Egypt and Saudi Arabia. So how do you evaluate the government efforts to increase Egyptian exports?
Yeah, of course, the Egyptian government is trying to fulfill its commitments concerning the quantities and the amounts of the Egyptian exporters to the other markets. As you know that we are planning, according to the cabinet statement and according to the directions of President Fattah al-Sisi to the government, to increase the Egyptian exports during the
Yes.
coming few years to 100 billion US dollars. And I think since the Egyptians moved toward the Arab markets, especially in the Gulf, of the Gulf markets like Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, and Oman, and so on, we increased. Egypt managed to increase its export to these countries, and at the same time, if you look at the statistics of the CAPMAS in Egypt, you will find that the Egyptian exporters during the last 2 years increased with a great percentage, and you will notice that the Egyptian increase in exporters didn't depend upon the oil exporters, but most of our exporters to the other world or to the other countries depended on local products and agri products and so on. This is, of course, a sign that the Egyptian economy recovered and didn't depend upon the oil. Increased their non-oil exporters to the other world.
So, sir, also important is the commercial and emotional missions to African and Arab countries and its impact on increasing the Egyptian. So, as I've just said, it is also important to increase efforts to the market. Market, and it can accept more Egyptian commodities.
So you are right. As you know that there is also a directions to the Canada to go toward the African markets. It is a huge market with a huge consumption power at the same time. And as you know that we are in a good positions to export our products to the African countries, producers of raw materials, so on, didn't depend the fabrications and industries and so on, but they exported the raw materials, and then they re-imported it manufacturally. But now Egypt can play an important role in meeting some needs of the African countries, and at the same time, during the last week, President Abdel al-Sisi asked the cabinet and also Minister of Transportation to see a new ways to increase our exporters to the African countries, especially. As you know that during the last decades we suffered from the lack of transportations and transportations to the African countries. Now I think Egypt bought over 3 cargoes, maritime cargoes. Increase its exports to the African states at the same time. And during the world this period, what can we say? The craft, due to the Russian-Ukrainian war, all the African countries at the same time.
Yes, Latif. Also, we have seen that the Egyptian government is focusing on exporting food products to Saudi Arabia. Do you expect other commodities to be included in the exporting list to Saudi Arabia, other than the food industries?
Yeah, of course. As you know that the Saudi markets, imported many food commodities
Yes.
from abroad. So Egypt, when it started to export their food products to the Saudi markets, I think they are concentrating on some goods like during the past years, like sugar, for example, like the agriculture's manufacture commodities, and at the same time, as you know, that we have in Egypt some important industries of food, especially like the state-owned companies, Sina and Kaha, and so on. And at the same time, they are trying to pave the way to export other commodities, like especially from the agri-products.
Yes. Finally, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Abdel Latif Wahba, a journalist specialized in the Ministerial Council's affairs. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And dear viewers, a short break. We'll be back, so stay tuned.